Welcome back, everybody. Silas here today. As you can see, I am not at the junkyard. I am actually in Broken Bow, Oklahoma on vacation. I had an idea for a video and I thought I would share it with you guys. This won't be a very long video, but we're getting ready to start a farm cleanup. And actually, I've already started the farm cleanup, but the videos of the farm cleanup are about to start posting. They're going to start posting over on the main channel. But when we first went out and looked at this cleanup, we did a quick walk around just to kind of film what was there so I knew what went and things like that. And so I have a little bit of this footage on my phone that I didn't record any audio over this footage or anything like that. It's just walking around seeing what all's there. And so I thought, you know what, that was a preview for me, and so now I'm going to share that preview with you over here on the second channel. Just an idea ahead, we'll see if it works or not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the footage to you guys, and as it's playing, I will do a voiceover and kind of explain what's there and what's going on, and then we'll close the video out at the end. First up, what we have is some sort of hay wagon or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Little three-wheel wagon. Got some iron on top of it, sitting back in the trees. Then we have an old combine. This is a pretty old one, a pretty neat one. I'm going to try to save this machine. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's kind of wide, but I will do the best that I can to get it home. Next up, there's a bunch of iron out here in these trees. There's some sort of piece of machinery. The tree's growing up in between it. There's more stuff scattered. Right now it's kind of overgrown, so it's kind of hard to see what all's here. A couple old plows. There's an old disc back over here. It's, like I say, it's got trees growing through it, weeds growing through it. Kind of hard to see exactly what's there. Then we have a John Deere 3-point plow. This is a pretty neat piece. There's a neat old grain silo, bunches of broken cattle feeders and hog feeders laying around in the weeds, more iron. Here's a pretty neat Cub Cadet International, little riding tractor, garden tractor type thing. That's a pretty neat little piece. That's actually already spoken for. And then here's a walk behind tractor, kind of like a David Bradley, but I think this is a Planet Junior is what it's called. I'm not sure. I did save that piece and brought it home, so I have it available. And then some more iron and tin back in the trees, kind of scattered around everywhere on this place. More hog feeders, more iron down in the weeds. Got to make sure you're careful while you drive. An old hay bale grinder feeder thing. I don't know what the technical term for that thing is. And more junk back in the trees. And there's a couple old hog feeders back here. They're pretty neat. They've got some writing on the lids. Here's an old Ford truck. A pretty rough truck, but it does have some good art pieces on it. And then back here in the trees, in the weeds, there's another truck. That's actually a Chevy. And then there's a tractor right here. This pen here is actually a goat pen, this area, so the goats are out this day. I didn't go in there to film the stuff closer, but the goats are friendly. And then there's some old buildings, and then there's some more farm equipment. Late 60s Ford truck, pretty rough, but it does have some parts and pieces on it still. Pretty neat grill guard, got a couple mirrors, a few dash parts. Fuel tanks, chuck wagons, augers, all sorts of stuff scattered everywhere. This is one of the neater pieces on the property. This is an 1800s oil barrel, oil tank, horse-drawn cart, wagon, I don't know what you want to call it. There's a few iron wheels laying around in the weeds, a manure spreader, bunches of just miscellaneous farm equipment, mostly just scrap, bunches of heavy iron everywhere, just more scrap down in the weeds and in the grass. Got to be careful where you walk. This piece I thought was neat. This is a 3-point, but it's like a hoist that attaches to the back of a tractor. Pretty cool piece, really. Then over here, there's a couple brush hogs. There's that chuck wagon again. A couple brush hogs here. Pretty rusty, just junk. All sorts of odds and ends stuff. Here's an old truck cab. I think this is an International. It's pretty rough, but it's got some good parts on it still. Here's another International truck. The hood on the back of this truck is actually to that Ford we saw earlier. This is a KB series. I think it's a KB2, and it has a hood as well, so maybe a good rat rod material. I don't know. Here's a conveyor belt. And then there's a bunch more stuff back here in the weeds. Another plow, I think. And there's a bunch of firewood racks. A bunch of old tables. This guy, he got all sorts of industrial equipment. I don't know where he got it all, but he has a lot of it. There's rollers. There's racks. You name it. Here's another great big brush hog. This is a tri. It folds up double on each side, so it's got 3 blades on this thing. Big piece, but once again, it's just junk. A bunch of old racking that's all rusty and down in the weeds and bent. And then there's a bunch of these rollers already off. There's a bunch on the unit still. Here's these platforms. These platforms are pretty neat. I think I'm going to save those. And then there's some cattle gates sitting around, some fencing, a bunch more iron, and racks, and like I'm saying, there's a bunch of iron on this place, just scattered everywhere. It's not too bad. It's pretty organized. Here's an old square baler. This is a big one here, big case or something like that. Maybe New Holland. I think it's a New Holland. And then here's a blade, John Deere blade, a homemade trailer. This is a pickup bed trailer. It's got a good color to it. Unfortunately, the rear fenders are gone. I think this one was a Dodge. Yeah, this is a Dodge here. I'll probably save that, bring it home. This is another neat piece, an old road grader. It's all there. It's a smaller unit, so it's not a super big one or anything like that, but it's a Russell Jr. And like I say, it's all there, so I'll probably hang on to that, bring it home. Bunch of old barn tin, not in too bad a condition. I actually already sold all of this. It's got nail holes and whatnot in it from being used, but he's going to use it to decorate his roof in his barn. Next up, we got just a random pile of tin, just mainly scrap in this pile, nothing really good. There are a few windmill pieces in this pile. They're all pretty rusty, but you know, for arts and crafts type stuff, I went ahead and saved all of those. And then up in the front field, there's a bunch of newer, or I shouldn't say newer, nicer farm equipment is the way of saying it. All stuff that was being used up until fairly recently, at least. A lot of plows, cultivators, manure spreader, you name it. Bunch of neat stuff up here in this field. And some of this stuff we're going to save and sell. Some of it's just going to wind up getting scrapped. I will take my time and go through it and try to find good homes for the better stuff at least. A couple of these pieces, like that drag right there, ended up not going, but there's some neat forks, and then there's another little manure, or not manure, a grain drill right here. Lots of neat stuff out here in this field, so hopefully I can find good homes for at least some of this stuff. So that's kind of what's there. Obviously there's more there, and actually I went out there after this was filmed, obviously right before I started, and I went through and in detail kind of went through everything, and I actually found some more stuff that I didn't know was there the first time. So be sure to stay tuned for that video. That will be on the main channel probably later this week. If not later this week, for sure next week it'll be up. It's going to be a busy farm cleanup. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get it all done, but we're going to do the best we can. I've been trying to work on the farm, trying to work on hauling cars, trying to run the junkyard, trying to deal with the whole railroad situation. Been dealing with a lot of things at once lately, so it's not like previous farm cleanups where I was able to just go do that until it was done. This time here I've kind of had to do little bits here and there whenever I have time. But so far I have found some pretty cool stuff, so you definitely want to stay tuned. But with that, I'm going to finish editing this, and then we're going to go do something fun. I have no clue what. Maybe we'll just hang out at the house and play games. I don't know. But I will let you all go. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Remember to get out there, find yourself an adventure. We'll see you next time.